Welcome to this week's Bridge. Today's guest is John Deso, who while on vacation a year ago made by accident some very interesting discoveries. Do you want to tell us about those discoveries, John?
Well, yes, I was in Gettysburg on vacation, being a tourist. I will admit, I had a curiosity about the ghosts that were advertised, or still is commercially advertised in Gettysburg. It's supposed to be the most haunted place and all this other stuff. And I did have a curiosity about certain places, and actually I was very cynical about the whole thing. And so I went to these places that were supposedly haunted, and I took my camera, and especially this one place called the Triangular Field, which was by Devil's Den. If you're familiar with Gettysburg and the battlefield area, Devil's Den, you know what I'm talking about. And I took my camera there, and the reason why I did, because a few years ago I was watching a videotape, and these movie people were there filming Triangular Field, and they were claiming their cameras weren't working, the lens broke for no reason. So I decided to take my camera there to prove them obviously false, you know. And
So you were a skeptic.
very. But my camera did react. It would turn on by itself and turn off by itself. Also,
Just hold that for a while.
okay, like for instance, the Triangular Field, I was at this location right here, which is in the middle of the field. That's where my camera started messing up on me. And get a good look at it, everybody. It just looks like a bunch of weeds there, but it's actually part of the Triangular Field. Anyway, and I felt the presence of energy, big time. And
What do you mean by, like, you felt the energy was like some kind of ominous feeling?
like a static, like it was like a electric, kind of. It was bizarre. And actually, I was kind of like alarmed, you could say. And then all of a sudden, it stopped. You know, it was like a calm, like nothing was there. And I noticed some more people were coming to the field, so I figured these people were like stopping whatever presence was there. The presence like stopped when they saw these other people coming. So I just left the field. I walked up and went to my car, and
But you didn't have any idea like it was ghost or anything. You just felt like a strange sensation.
no, I did feel like it was some type of presence there.
So
And
no, you'd never felt anything like this before.
I
You're
have,
saying like
but
you went down there as a skeptic, so now you're feeling this. So it obviously triggered something off in you, right?
I did go down there as a skeptic, but I won't say that I never felt that before. I have felt that before, but I think I'm trained, like most of us are, that there's no such thing as ghosts, and you know, we're supposed to be platooned here on Earth and stay there. I think there's a lot more going on than meets the eye, is what I'm trying to say. But I never could come to that conclusion because of the fact that, you know, reality says that, quote, reality says that there's no such thing. Anyway, when I got to my car as I was leaving that field, like I said, I didn't feel the energy anymore. I unlocked the car, which shuts off my alarm. I got in the car, my alarm goes off, which tells me that these energies followed me to my car. So I never really wanted to go back to that field. Now, they have these commercial ghost tours. This is like the beginning. I mean, there's so much here. I mean, this is the beginning of my discoveries.
And this just happened like a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I followed through on this stuff big time.
You want to slowly get some more or something, or here?
Yeah, well, I would go on these ghost walks at night, and if you go to Gettysburg,
like Gettysburg?
yes, they have tourist ghost walks, and they tour around people. You know, the residents of Gettysburg hate these people, but you know, it's part of the tourist thing there in Gettysburg. So I'd go on these walks.
And what
they're
is like
fun.
the attitude of the other people like on these ghost tours? Are they serious about
Oh,
it?
they're
Are they just
curious.
Are they
you
just
know.
like, oh, let's go on the ghost tour for a lark?
Kind of like me. A lot of us are like me. I was like there just for the fun of it. You know, they're fun, like a hayride, like a Halloween hayride. Or sometimes people are very genuinely curious about the ghosts. And of course, there was no experience of any activity on these tours or anything else. But after these tours, I would go by myself. I went with a couple of people after the first night tour. We went to a field and we just decided to take photographs. And I was not using a flash. I had my lens wide open. In other words, whatever was there was going to get caught. And I really didn't expect to have anything. And I developed the film. Get a close-up of this baby right here. These streaks here, I figured when I first got the film back, you know, the pictures back when I took them, I figured there was some kind of accident. The film was warped or the lightning bugs or something like that. So I really didn't take notice in them. But then I realized that if you take a picture of a lightning bug, they don't streak like that. They streak like a, you know, like one little streak.
Well, this is when you didn't develop the film right away, right?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
I always develop my films right. This was taken by these pictures I'm showing right now, by the way, are 35 millimeter, 200 speed actually.
So you went and got and developed that, you know, the next day or something. So you're looking at this while you're still on that vacation.
Right.
Okay.
These are all this is like the beginning. Like I said, you know, I'm trying to get across that I really didn't expect to find ghosts or anything else.
So you're seeing the film coming. So like obviously, what was like your emotions like? Were you getting really like, was your interest getting really piqued, or were you worried? Was like on you like what's going on here, or you're just like?
Well,
was
like
it
I
an
said, while I was
accident?
at Gettysburg itself, I really didn't feel like these were ghost pictures or any kind of ghost pictures at this particular point in time. I figured these were lightning bugs or something like that. But I kept the pictures anyway. Then I showed when I went on a tour. I was there for a week during the anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg. As I was going on the tour, though, I went on a ghost tour every night, different ones. Somebody did show me one of those pictures that had, actually, I could tell they were lightning bugs. I mean, the streaks and everything else. And I looked at my pictures again. I said, wait a minute. These are energies. These are not lightning bugs. This is not my camera messing up. Anyway, so I kept that in the back of my head. And I didn't discover a lot of this stuff in Gettysburg until I got home about 2 weeks later. Like, for instance, I don't want to, I mean, I got so much stuff here. For instance, I don't know if we can get a close-up at this here. This is me. I was on one of those ghost tours. I was just taking a regular tour shot. Now, if you notice in this pictures, there's actually a street light right here, like a red light right there. That same light is over here. So I'm not in a different spot. Obviously, that sign is, the tavern open thing is in the same place. There's a wall here, right there. This brown wall, and also this turns into a dirt road. That wall is not in this picture. Like I said, I wasn't looking for this. This was something I discovered actually a couple of weeks after I got back from Gettysburg. So I was like making discoveries like this. And I just want to say one more thing about my Gettysburg trip. This window right here, okay. I took this shot because this was actually not part of the tour scene. This is actually a real estate house. Sorry about that. There's bullet holes in the shutter over here, right here. Now, that's what I was taking a picture of. It turns out these bullet holes were probably made they're not real bullet holes, but that's what I was taking a picture of. If you look right there, there's a man there. There's nobody in that house.
Yeah, I can see him.
Okay? I got a...
Now, did you see? You didn't see him though while you were taking that picture, right? It's
No.
after you developed it.
Exactly.
And this would be like the case a lot with like these pictures. You didn't actually see at that moment. It was
Right.
later when you got either the film or the digital image back.
Like there he is right close up. You notice he's got like a sword there. You know, he's there, but that building was closed. Obviously, nobody dressed like that.
Yeah.
So this was like, I didn't discover that until after I got home. About a month after I got home.
But what was
I
like your
discovered
feeling
most.
when you started seeing these discoveries?
I was totally stunned, actually.
And did it lead you like to start like say go to the library to read up on the stuff, or did you seek out people on knowledge, or?
I did. I seeked out people that were supposedly involved with the paranormal and people that were experienced such things. And it's been an interesting ride as far as trying to find people that actually experience this phenomenon. There's even in people that's done research in the paranormal and has investigated, there's still a lot of doubt, a lot of like, what do you call it?
Suspicion?
Suspicion that they're not seeing what's there. You know, like
Even amongst the people who've experienced it themselves?
Exactly. They go there very reluctant. You know, it's like they're
So do you think that's because of the conditioning of our culture, the the heavy emphasis on rationality?
Well, another factor too is it's quite, like for instance, I don't have any, but sometimes you'll see a photograph and what paranormal people would call ectoplasma, right? It looks like a smoky haze going over the photograph. Something like that can be very easily faked. And for some reason, people do this sort of thing. So, you know, you have stuff like this, or, I mean, there's all kinds of things people do. Why, I don't know. Okay. So, by talking to people that has researched this, I have discovered that there's a lot of doubt, and also that, you know.
Now, when you're talking to these people, did they have doubt about what you were showing them? Did they think like you were some kind of scam artist, or?
Sure.
They did, so they laid that trip down on you.
Very few people told me they doubted me. I have had people that really have some extraordinary equipment and checked out my photographs.
Because when I saw them, I felt like they're pretty genuine. But when I was telling people like I was having you on and the topic of the show this week, they're like just would roll their eyes or just make some kind of gesture, and I would try to make a joke out of it, saying, well, if he's faking it, those are such really good fakes, I don't mind getting faked, just to create the heat with them. But I was just noticing, like, why is that heat on? You haven't even seen the guy's pictures, right off the bat, it's like, oh, this is something weird,
Well, I can understand that, and I don't mind doubt, and I think that I don't think that it's a natural thing. First of all, I don't believe that it's a natural thing for people to actually go out and look for ghosts. I don't think that's our purpose in being here. That's first of all. So I don't blame people as far as thinking, I'm some kind of bizarre person or something. I am, but that's.
Well, why do you think these spirits have revealed themselves to you? Like, personally, I have never seen any ghosts.
I'll tell you.
I'm not saying that I doubt you. I'm saying, like, there's obviously,
I don't think I'm special, Bob.
I'm not saying you're special.
No, I know you're not saying I'm special, but I think that I'm sensitive. I do believe that, and I've always sensed that there is a lot more to this living than just what we're looking at.
Yeah, more to the surface, eh?
And so maybe that's why. I don't know, but I did continue after I discovered these things in Gettysburg, I got home and started doing some research at home. And I went to, I'm not one that's like for going to cemeteries and looking for ghosts. I just don't think that's proper. But some people do for scientific research of some kind or whatever. I just don't feel like the wonderful thing to do is to go to the cemetery and look for ghosts. I just don't. But I did, when I got back, just to try to confirm what I found in Gettysburg, because I'm still shocked. And I did come up with some interesting discoveries at a cemetery, but I don't seem to have any of them on me. It was like this green haze of energy coming up.
What about some of those other pictures, the ones that were loose? Those are pretty amazing pictures.
Well, as time went on,
Like these ones.
yeah, I think we're going to have to do it. There's a lot here. As time went on, okay, I got out of the cemetery thing. I didn't feel like I belonged there, but I did come up with a few pictures. I knew there was energy there, and they knew that I knew there was energy there, and they actually monkeyed with my camera from the cemetery. And it just didn't feel right to me to keep monkeying with this cemetery, which I won't tell you what cemetery it was. There was this one time, some guy showed me a painting of this old house. I always had this feeling about places. And I wanted to know where that house was. There was a time when I was digging artifacts, right? I mean, just antique, into antique stuff. That might be another reason, I don't know. I'm very sensitive about things. And that house, I got a feeling from this house. And I asked this guy, this was a few years even before I went to Gettysburg on that trip. And he told me where the house was, and I went up there and investigated it. And I remember when I went up there and looked at the house, because it's on a perimeter where actually nothing else is there, a couple of highways. And I looked inside the house. I didn't go in the house. I looked inside it. And it looked like back in the 1970s, this place was like remodeled, and it was totally they just totally like abandoned it. And it looked like they had some kind of business working on the side there, but it looked like it was totally remodeled like in the 1970s or around that area and abandoned. So I remembered that after I got done with the cemetery things. And I was looking for people to go up there with a camera with me and check this place out. And I eventually found one, a person that I've known for a number of years.
This was like in the fall now?
This was the fall of last year, yes.
Now, are you at the same time like reading up on this stuff and getting knowledge into this activity?
Yeah.
Or are you still doing it, or were you still following along more in an intuitive way?
A lot of it is intuitive because of the fact that I know what I discovered just with a 35 millimeter. And I didn't really start getting into anything digital until the fall when I started going to this house. I had a partner at that particular point in time because I didn't really want to go by myself because I'm afraid of evil spirits and all this other stuff. You know, it was haunted and they might be evil. You think of the Amityville horror thing and all that other stuff. And so I went up there and...
what time of days would you go up there? Or was it all times? Or like, did you find like, let's say mornings opposed to night would be a better time to go capture this activity, or it didn't matter?
At first, nighttime's always good because that's when you got a backdrop, I think. You know, like dark, the backdrop is much more apt to...
So the energy fields are more recognizable then, you think?
Yeah, exactly. But I think you can still get... I have done
Now, when
some,
you would go up there, would you hang out for a while, or you just drive up 45 minutes, take some shots? What would it be like, or would it be like different activities? You know what I mean? Like, would you go up and like, you know, you were going to spend like a lot of time there and they'd bring some food? And
No, we didn't do anything like that. When we first started going up there, this is the kind of stuff I was getting. This was done with a 35 millimeter. Now there's a triangular thing shape here in the back, right? That's not very big. The house had burnt down for some reason. This is like the remnants of the house that was there. There's a shape of this little girl right there. Now this is, and it's like energy all over her, like bubbles.
I can see that.
Yeah, this is this type of stuff I was getting at first. And I got another one here. Again, this was like the business part of the house. Now, if you look close, right over here, right there, there's that little boy.
Yeah, I can see him.
And these little bubble things all over the freaking place.
Yeah, what are those bubble things?
Those are like energy created by them. Like, okay, like for instance, say these are all little orbs. These are like orbs that I've never seen before. But when
orbs have an old connection back to the biblical times too, right?
Right. For example, like that's what I was going to get into. Like when you talk about a word like orb, okay, it means like orbital. It's like a light that's orbital. Like the sun, like the Hebrews back in the early days would say, like the sun went down, the orb of the sun goes down. Once the orb of the sun goes down, then you rest, like that for the Shabbat or the Sabbath. So, like orb actually just means a circular light. So these were like little lights here. As you know, like things progressed more and more, and you know, we went there. I started getting images of fire right here.
Maybe we get a close up to that.
See? So I started getting impressions like they were talking to me. That fire wasn't there. This was actually a 35 millimeter shot too. Everything, I realized when I got involved in this stuff, these were 200 ISO would be the best film to use. Less grainy, good with a flash, and it picked things up. I got 7 minutes. So once I got involved, I got the idea that something was trying to communicate. But again...
So did you start to see like some kind of narrative forming?
Yes, I did. Now, I wanted to get involved more with the orb thing. I know we got to stop here very shortly, but I know that we're going to be doing another show to continue this. But
plus,
that's
we'll have more information up at that web page, gbridgetv.com, diso.html. So anyone who's curious, please contact us there.
But the orbs, I've also gotten like various colors of the orbs, which I think are very significant.
Which are like reflections of auras, right?
They're orbitals. But we're going to be closing now, but you know, during the next show that we do, I'm sure we'll get more involved and more intensely involved with my discovery. I am now, of course, not doing this by accident. I'm actually discovering.
Now, do you find that just because you're getting more intuitive or more sensitive to it, or do you think it's something that's like cause you can be cool about this knowledge that they might be revealing themselves to someone like you, or is that just making it too mystical? Because it's not really something like you know, like the burning bush in Mount Sinai, right? It's just something that's just kind of unfolding. It's unfolding.
A lot of it is not intuitive anymore. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly I don't know. You can't call the.
Does this relate to like you've invested now in equipment, computer stuff, and?
Yeah, I have some good computer stuff, and I use a small digital camera, 4 megapixel right now, and I also have a huge one which I've used.
Do you use any special zoom lens or anything, or?
No, no zoom. I've been taking about shots at night because the zoom lens. Unless it's a smaller lens, like on a smaller camera, you know, you're not going to get anything because the lens is going to outdo the flash. Mm-hmm. So, but like there's a lot more here, and we got to do a future show. It's quite obvious because I really wanted to get into a little discussion about the orbs, and then the messages that are being conveyed to me. I'm actually getting real messages conveyed.
Okay, well, John, it looks like it's going to be more than one show, but I'd like to thank you for coming on, sharing like these wonderful pictures with our guests, and we'll be having you back on in the coming weeks, because it's obviously a topic that just can't be completed in a short half hour.
No.
So thanks.
Thank you, Bob. Okay.